So I really, really enjoy this scene. I feel like this is a scene that I kind of slept on when I played the game originally. I thought it was interesting, but pretty much every time I see this scene, I get more out of it, I feel. It's grown on me over the years, and now it's one of my favorite scenes. Cloud, wasn't it? It's about Eris, isn't it? Sorry, the Shinra have her. I know, they took her from here. They were here? Yeah, it's because of the giant TV. That's what Eris wanted. Why is Shinra after Eris? Eris is an ancient, the sole survivor. What did you say? But aren't you her mother? Not a real mother. Oh, it must have been 15 years ago. During the war, my husband was sent to the front, some faraway place called Wutai. What the heck is a Wutai? One day I went to the station because I got a letter saying he was coming home on leave. Yeah, this scene is incredible in the remake. Also, I usually forget about it because I'm too busy focused on Elmira, but this part here, the big guy gets up and the woman swings him around. You expect him to sling her around and then she swings him around instead. Oh wow, that just always makes you laugh. They look at each other for a second like you're waiting for it, and then she swings him instead. Yep, even the saddest moments have to have comedy. My husband never came back. I wonder if something happened to him. No, I'm sure his leave was just cancelled. I went to the station every day. Then one day... You used to see this sort of thing a lot during the war. Her last words were, "Please take Eris somewhere safe." My husband never came back. I had no child. I was probably lonely. So I decided to take her home with me. I don't think they meant I was probably lonely. I'm not sure that's what they meant to say. Eris and I became close very quickly. That child loved to talk. She used to talk to me about everything. She told me she escaped from some kind of research laboratory somewhere, and that her mother had already returned to the planet, so she wasn't lonely, and many other things. Yeah, man, I tell you what, like, this scene, like I said, it's grown on me over time, but, like, you don't really get the same effect, because it's hard to tell that it's actually, like, Eris crying, and then Elmira, like, runs up. Like, in the remake, seeing little Eris crying was, like, the worst thing ever. I couldn't stand it. I was like, this is killing me. This scene is actually killing me. When you get that high-def little Eris crying. I'm like, no. I can't stand it. Return to the planet? I didn't know what she meant. I asked if she meant a star in the sky, but she said it was this planet. She was a mysterious child in many ways. Mom? Please don't cry. Eris just blurted that out all of a sudden. When I asked her if something happened, someone dear to you has just died. His spirit was coming to see you, but he already returned to the planet. At that time, I didn't believe her. But several days later, we received a notice saying my husband died. And that's how it was. A lot had happened, but we were happy. Until one day. We want you to return Eris to us. We've been searching for her for a long time. No, never! Eris, you're a very special child. You are of special blood. Your real mother was an ancient. Of course I heard it, that she was an ancient. The ancients will lead us to a land of supreme happiness. Eris will be able to bring happiness to all those in the slums. That is why Shinra would like Eris's cooperation. He's wrong. I'm not an ancient. I'm not. But Eris, surely you hear voices sometimes when you're all alone? No, I don't. But I knew about her mysterious powers. She tried so hard to hide it, so I acted as though I never noticed. It's amazing how she's avoided the Shinra for all these years. The Shinra needed her, so I guess that they wouldn't harm her. But why now? She brought a little girl here with her. On the way here, Sung found them. She probably couldn't get away fast enough. She decided to go to the Shinra in exchange for the little girl's safety. Must be Marlene. Marlene! Eris was caught because of Marlene? I'm sorry, Marlene's my daughter. I'm really sorry. You're her father? How in the world could you ever leave a child alone like that? Please don't start with that. I think about it all the time. What would happen to Marlene if I... You gotta understand something. I don't got an answer. I want to be with Marlene, but I gotta fight. Because if I don't, the planet's gonna die. So I'm gonna keep fighting. But I'm worried about Marlene. I really just want to be with her, always. See? I'm going in circles now. I think I understand what you're saying. She's upstairs asleep. Why don't you go and see her? So that's a really powerful part there with Barrett and Elmira in terms of Barrett's story for a lot of reasons. And one thing that I always found like really interesting, so first of all, the obvious is that it's all about Barrett's internal struggle between wanting to protect Marlene, but then also wanting to fight to save the planet, which Marlene lives on. So it's this internal struggle that Barrett struggles with the whole game. It kind of shows itself here, and then it keeps coming back later, especially with some of his conversations with Kate Sith. But one little underlying thing that I didn't think about when I first, went through this scene is that Marlene is quote-unquote adopted by Barrett, and Eris is quote-unquote adopted by Elmira. So they have that connection, but weirdly, it never comes up. Like, they specifically say Elmira's not Eris's real mother, which I hate to use that terminology. I wish they didn't, but hey, it was the early 2000s. But they say she's not, I'm not her real mother, but Barrett never says I'm not Marlene's real dad. Like, that never comes up, even though it's a connection that they have, and it's, you kind of think about it here once you've played the game once. But it's interesting that they have this interaction and they both have adopted children. It's interesting. So that's just the one underlying thing. I'm so glad you're alright. Daddy, don't cry, your whiskers hurt. Cloud! You're gonna go help Eris, right? She's done so much for me. If it's the Shinra you're dealing with, I can't just sit here. I'm coming too. Guess what? Eris was asking me lots of questions. Like what kind of person Cloud is. I bet she likes you, Cloud. I don't know. Stupid. You're going after Eris, right? Yeah, I'm coming with you. We're going right into Shinra headquarters. You gotta be prepared for the worst. I know. Right now, I feel I have to push myself to the limit. If I stayed here, I'll go crazy. Sorry, but can you take care of Marlene a bit longer? Yes, I don't mind. This place is dangerous now. You better go somewhere else. You're right, but promise me that you'll come back to her. Don't get yourself killed. Yeah, if you just run out, you don't have to watch that Barrett scene. If you do it quickly, it's kind of silly because Barrett walks up the stairs and then immediately comes back down. How do we get to the Shinra building? There ain't no train that goes up there anymore. Well, let's just go to Wall Market. We might be able to find something there. Yeah, I think the reason that they don't reveal that Marlene is adopted by Barrett is because that's something that you learn later. Like, it's something they wanted to reveal later. But that's just an example of the great storytelling in this game, where going through the game again, having that knowledge makes this scene so much more powerful because they both have adopted children. So it's such a great tool for making the second playthrough even more, hit harder, because at the time you don't actually know that, but knowing it is makes that scene different. I don't think I need anything here. How's it going, Chocobo? I'm surprised the Shinra didn't take Marlene as well, so they could make her make cocktails for him. Child labor laws do not exist. Do any laws exist in the slums? I don't think there's any police officers. Why would I need a battery? I think you're full of it. So yeah, I love this conversation because you're supposed to go up there and then realize you need batteries and then come back down. But if you talk to him early, he will still sell them to you. But he's like, you're gonna sell me something you just found? Hey, you knew? But I repaired it, so it's alright. Why do I need a battery to climb up to the plate? Like, just buy them. Don't worry about it. Stop asking questions. Aw, not bad. You can beat the kids if you're fast enough. Everyone climbed up this wire. Looks scary. Brr. Can we climb it? Yeah, it leads to the upper world. Alright, we climbed this wire. There's no way we can do this. You know how far it goes up? There is a way. Look, what's that look like? Just a normal wire? Oh yeah? Well, to me it looks like a golden shiny wire of hope. Then the girl does the cloud shrug. You're right, this is the only way to save Eris. Okay, that was a bad analogy, but Barrett, I understand how you feel. Let's go. Yeah, so what does the red text read? What's your guess? Avalanche? Avril Lavigne? I I prefer the No Mercy. Oh man, this is horrible. Hey, scary, huh? Dad told me that it's the Shinra's doing. Now the overly long propeller scene. Yeah, this is another place where, like, I don't want to say that the remake is necessarily better, because obviously they had the foresight and the abilities that they didn't have when they made this game, but just because they had much more available to them when they made the remake, it gives them the ability to better, like, convey this, because you're so focused on, like, the climb, you're not really looking in the background to see, like, the devastation, but in the remake, you really get a chance to, like, see the devastation and get that emotion out of it. I never really got the emotion of, like, looking at the devastation here. I was just focused on trying to make this stupid jump. Also, for anyone that ever struggled with that jump, just wait till you hear the sound and hit circle. You'll get it every time. Don't look at the bar, just wait for the sound. CRJP, have a great weekend. You should be getting your CRC game soon, by the way. I don't know if you were here when I said that. Yeah, I was kind of confused by that ether also. But if you look above it, there's a chest that opens when you put the battery in. I don't know why that chest is battery operated, but don't worry about it. It's not important. Alright, JP, thank you for the gifted sub. Appreciate you, my man. So, when we did our randomizer mod, the best part of the whole thing was one of those lights was replaced with a character. So there was a giant character behind the Shinra mansion that looked like Godzilla attacking it, or the Shinra HQ. It looked like Godzilla was attacking the Shinra HQ. It was pretty awesome. Also, I gotta point this out, because I always point it out, that save point is massive. Hey, you want to know this building well? Not really, now that I think about it. This is the first time I've ever been to the headquarters. I heard about this place before. Every floor above the 60th is special and not easy to get to even for employees. Must be where they took Eris. Security's pretty light now. Alright, let's go. Wait a second, you're not thinking of just going right through the main entrance, are you? Well, what else does it look like? I'm gonna kick some Shinra butt and... That's not going to work. We've got to find another way. Ain't gonna be no other way if we keep wasting time like this, Aerosol. I know that, but if we get caught here... Hey, Cloud, what should we do? It actually doesn't matter what you say here. That's more like it. Come on, let's go. It does affect 8 points, but you can do either one. But yeah, look how big this save point is. It's ginormous. I don't know why it's so big. I guess it's just so you don't miss it. So usually we like to do the stairs for the meme. We're gonna bust in instead because there's something I want to point out. Oh, it doesn't? I always thought it did. I always thought busting in gave you Barrett points. Excuse me, if you don't have an appointment, you'll just have to... Don't need no appointment. This is emergency. Anyone who don't want to get their face bashed in better get out of the way. Yog! Who do you think they are? You don't think that's Avalanche? Intruder, seize them! Yeah, usually I troll my chat and say we're bussing in and then take the stairs instead. But I'm not trolling this time. There's something I want to point out. In a little bit. And yeah, there's the Turtle Paradise Flyer as well that we should get. Because why not? Let's go to the top! Let's get into a fight 2 steps in. Yeah, if you want to be super, if you want to do everything, you can go up the stairs, grab the elixir, come all the way back down, and bust in. Yeah, I believe you can get this later. But this is the easiest time to get it. And another hard day. Wouldn't you like to sit back with a tall, cool one? Oh, there are? Kind of want to check that. Shinra Inc. This week's phrase. Shinra's future is the world's future. Mako energy for a brighter world. Wow, exciting. That's why you knew there were 2, because you had to change them. I always love running during a pincer because everyone runs a different direction. It looks ridiculous. Like, guys, pick a direction. Alright, so first off, we have to show the greatest Easter egg in the game. This is gonna change your whole life. Welcome, today we have on special, the AUG! Here, take the money! Don't want no money, Avalanche ain't no pack of criminals. We just want back what your boss stole from us. Avalanche? Now we ain't gonna hurt you, might even pay you if you help us. Okay. Alright, this is gonna change your life. You ready? The car video. Let's go. The secret Shinra commercial. With evil corporation music, because that's what makes you want to buy a car, right? Yeah, I believe this is a tech demo where they just made it to, like, test stuff. And they were like, why not? Throw it in. Which end is the front end? Buy our cars, we use children as fuel. Okay, and then I have one other thing to show. If you know this, don't spoil it, okay? So, one of the biggest things in the speedrun is whether or not the stairs or the elevator is faster. And you would think that one of them is pretty obvious, right? Like, either the stairs or the elevator are probably, one of them is probably way faster than the other one, and speedrunners probably just take the one that's faster, right? But it's actually much more complicated than that. Depending on how many encounters you get in this elevator and how the encounters go before this, the elevator can actually be faster than the stairs by a slight amount. So back in the day, it used to just be a gamble. Like if you wanted to really just like gamble your time away, you could take the elevator and just hope it's faster than the stairs. Most speedrunners would just take the stairs though to be safe. Plus you get an elixir out of it. And the extra experience you get from these fights really isn't a big deal in the speedrun. So most of the time, people would just take the stairs. Then, when the PC version started becoming the crazy speedrun that it is today, and New Game Plus became insane when I found materia smuggling, it was found that doing these fights was actually faster because you could get in here with stupid strong materia and get through the fights really fast. So then it became a toss-up between, like, what's faster, elevator, stairs. People would change it up all the time. And then just recently, a manipulation was found where you can get the Shinra guy that comes up and doesn't actually fight you to show up every single time, or at least more times than usual. And that actually makes the elevator super fast. But it's a really, really difficult manipulation. You have to use a metronome and time your buttons correctly. It's absurd. Only one person has ever done it in a speedrun, and they're the current world record holder in PC 80%. His name's Hype Ghost. I want to learn it someday. If I ever return to PC 80% to try to get the world record back, I'm probably going to have to learn it. But it's total nonsense how it works. So anyways, I told you that story to tell you this story. When we were doing a lot of routing to figure out how PC 80% and New Game Plus would work, we went through the code on this elevator a bunch. We wanted to figure out if there was a way to manipulate it in an easier way. And so I pretty much tore apart like every single bit of code in this elevator to try to figure out if there was any way we could make it faster. And while I was digging through the code, I found something very strange that I want to show you because it's very funny. So let me find it first and then I'll explain it. Okay, so here's the elevator. And when you walk into the elevator, you have to walk up to the panel to activate the elevator, right? For some reason, they didn't want to make this panel, they didn't want to give this panel a hitbox. It's probably because it's drawn into the background. They didn't make it its own model. It's just part of the background. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll just make like an invisible model here that you bonk into. But other times, they like to just put some kind of model that already exists there and just hide it behind the background under a different layer. And that model that they use could be anything. And as I was going through to figure out how the hitbox of this thing works, I went through the layers and found out what model they used just to have some kind of physical thing there. And it turns out they use a character there, so that when you walk up to press the button, you're actually talking to a character. But instead of the character saying anything, it just activates the elevator, right? So I want you to guess. If you don't know, if you already know, then don't guess. But if you don't know, what character do you think they used? It's not Sephiroth. What character do you think they used to hide behind this button so that when you talk to it, the button works? What do you guys think? Bugenhagen, good guess. Vincent, good guess. Palmer, good guess. Chocobo, the This Are Sick guy. Marlene, Corneo. It's not Sephiroth. These are all very good guesses. They're all wrong, though. It is, of course, the most important character of all time. Chocobo Billy. I don't know why, but that's just the one they chose. So, whenever you go in this elevator and you press this button, just remember you are talking to Chocobo Billy for some reason. So, yeah, I figured that out while I was looking through, and I just thought that was so ridiculous that I always remembered it. So, yeah. This right here is Chocobo Billy that we're going to go interact with. Billy, is that you? What's wrong? I didn't want to start a ruckus till we saved Eris. I should have known that was impossible, though. Hehehe. What is it? You're giving me the willies. So there are times when even you fight for other people. I am impressed. Who cares if you're impressed? You know, I ain't so good at saying this, but sorry. For lots of things. What the? Look! How's it going, Sing? I don't care where, Cloud, just stop it. So I don't remember the chance of getting a Shinra employee, but it's really low. Which is why it's so insane that you can manipulate it to always be the Shinra guy and not get a single fight up this elevator. I think you might be right, but I'll have to double check. I want to say that you can skip all the fights, but you might be right. The first one might be mandatory. I don't remember. That sounds right, yeah. And then every fight after this has a chance to be the employee. His name is Hito? I never knew that. Where does that come from? Where do you learn that? He is a person. Great. His name is Person. Very personal. How's it going, Random? So there's two enemies to look out for in the Shinra HQ. The first is the third class dudes who give you the hard edge. You can steal the hard edge from them. And there's also the robots with the ball bodies that you can steal carbon bangles from, which honestly the carbon bangles are almost better than the hard edge. The carbon bangles are super good to get. They're really, really strong for this part of the game. And there's the Hammer Bro. This is another great example of an enemy that just, they didn't really have the ability to do with it what they meant to do. So that enemy can disappear, and also when it attacks, it disappears and reappears in front of you. And I never put two and two together and realized that he's going into the hole and then like coming out of the hole and hitting you is what's supposed to be happening. But because they don't really have like a way to have holes all over the field, he just kind of disappears and reappears. So in the remake, they actually showed like what that enemy is supposed to be doing. Funnily enough, though, later on during the Shinra raid, there is an enemy that goes in and out of a bunch of holes, like whack-a-mole style. But yeah, there's a lot of great examples of stuff that they did their best with what they had, but it wasn't until the remake that they were able to really show what stuff was supposed to do and mean and stuff. Now, of course, the remake took a lot of liberties as well, but in a lot of ways it just showed what the original game meant to show that they couldn't. Hey! Give me that carbon bangle. Imagine if Barrett was in Sadness. He already takes 9 damage from being back row and guarding. Yeah, steal percent sure is great. I bet you Zoloff could tell us the chances of stealing this if he knew Tifa's level. It's probably like 15%, 20%, maybe more than that, and I'm just unlucky. 6.9%. Nice. Or 20%. I feel like there was a question that someone asked a bit ago that I wasn't able to answer. If you had a question and I didn't answer it, feel free to at me. I'll do my best to answer it. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, a lot of the good steals are early, and then steal kind of falls off for a while, and there's not much you can steal. Oh yeah, there was that AMA question too that I missed. Sorry about that. That was a good time to answer it. You said which melody is my favorite? Let me go read it. Which fanfare melody is your favorite? Maybe either this one or 9's? I'm trying to think of what 8 sounds like. I feel like 8's was good too. Dude, there's no way this is 25%. I have to be really unlucky if it's 25%. I'm pretty sure my favorite is one of the PS1 games, either 7, 8, or 9. I'd have to listen to them back to back to decide on a favorite, though. Holy guacamole. If you ever wonder why I complain about 7 steals, this is why. Finally! Good lord! Are you excited at all for 16, or has 15 kind of soured you on the series? No, I'm excited for 16. 16 looks cool. It looks like a return to, like, the retro crystal type storytelling. The game itself looks like it's still pretty modern, but I don't mind Final Fantasy being modern. I know some people do, and that's totally fine opinion to have. But me personally, I'm okay with them pushing the series forward into modern style combat. I just hated 15. So I hope it's more like modern, but away from 15's way of doing it. As long as it's not 15-2, I think it could be great. I'll give it a fair shake, you know. But I'm actually pretty excited with what I saw. I thought the trailer was pretty neat. I mean, I even kind of like the Stranger in Paradise demo. I think that game still has a lot of work to be done, but I still enjoyed, like, I thought the demo was fun. Yeah, I know some people just kind of, they play Final Fantasy and they just want all the Final Fantasies to be turn-based. Like, they just look at Final Fantasy and it just screams turn-based RPG to them. Maybe they grew up with the retro games. Maybe they didn't, but they just kind of synonymize Final Fantasy with turn-based. But I've never felt that way. I've always felt like Final Fantasy is a game that Square always uses to, like, push forward, whether it be graphics or gameplay or whatever. They always use Final Fantasy as a way to push forward into making their games modern. Like, it's the one that they show off their most modern gameplay in. So even though the first 6 games were mostly turn-based, I mean, there's still like an active battle type deal with 6, but you know, it started off turn-based, but they've always pushed forward and made 7 an active battle, and then they continued doing like more active battle stuff, and then 12 they changed it up again, then 13 they changed it up again. So like, I feel like I've never felt that the Final Fantasy has to be turn-based. When the remake was first announced, that's where everyone was like, it better be turn-based. And I was of that camp for a while, because if you're going to remake 7, it just makes sense to make it turn-based, right? Over time, I realized why they were doing an action RPG, and I came to terms with it and ended up actually really enjoying it in the end. But I understood why people really wanted the remake to be turn-based, because it was 7, and it's a remake of 7, and 7 was turn-based, or at least ATB, so it should be ATB, right? But I've never been of the opinion that, like, every new Final Fantasy game should be turn-based. I always thought that Final Fantasy was a series that they continued to implement new things in, and tried new things, and experimented with new ways of combat and stuff. So I'm okay with them doing crazy stuff with 16. I'm okay with them making it an action RPG or an open world or whatever they think is best for the series. So, like, I'll give it a fair shake no matter what it is. As long as it's not like a puzzle game, as long as it's still an RPG, because I think at least it should be an RPG. But besides that, I'm willing to take. I'm willing to try anything. You know, when it comes down to it, if it's super boring like 15, or it's like misled like 13 was, then I'm not going to enjoy it as much. But yeah, I'm excited for what I saw. It looked fun, so I guess we'll see. I feel like there was something... Nah, maybe not. How's it going, You've Got? There's been some task work in Final Fantasy VII, yeah. It's not super popular because there's not a ton in Final Fantasy VII that can only be done tasks. So if there is a task of it, it's probably out of date by quite a bit. The only really fun thing you can do with tasks in this game is you can make all your hits crit and you can get no encounters pretty much. But other than that, it's not as exciting as some other tasks. All the movement and stuff you can do fine. Oh, I remember also someone made like a task of Suna Skip, and it's hilarious because they just run at the wall and it works. They don't have to like do a sub-pixel position. They just run at it because the task can do sub-pixel movement on its own. So it just runs straight at the wall. It just goes right through the guards. Look at that. All them guards is running around. Cloud, you go on ahead and signal us when it's safe to come. So I did a lot of research on this screen exactly for the speedrun. I spent like hours in this room coming up with the best strat to do this room on the Steam version. There's a lot of different cool strats in this room to do it as optimally as possible. One of them in particular, you have to actually press the button before the soldiers start walking. Because if you notice, like when you press the button, they start to move, but they're not exactly past the statue yet. So you can actually press the button before the guards start to move and they won't see you. And the most optimal movement actually like force you to do that to be quick enough. But yeah, I lost a lot of runs in this room to either being slow or getting caught. So I did a lot of research in this room to try to find the best way to do it. And try to find like a visual cue that worked. One really cool visual cue that I used at one point was I looked at the guards on the other side. Not the guards that are in front of me, but the guards on the other side. Because when they move, it was safe to hit the button, even though my guards hadn't started moving yet. So there was like no visual cue on my guards, but you could use the visual cues from the previous guards to help out. So that was pretty neat. Okay, we gotta rock. Remember, we're here to save Eris. I know that. Do you though, Barrett? Do you? The mayor. The mayor. The mayor. The mayor. So, the mayor puzzle. Shall we talk about the mayor puzzle? So, the idea behind this puzzle is you read what each section is supposed to be, and then you find the book that doesn't fit. So, like, this is the space library. So you go in here and you find the book that doesn't fit in the space library. That's space. Breakdown of soldier members by class. That is not space. So that would be the book that we're looking for. And then you take the number, and that number letter in the sentence is the letter you use. So this would be B, because it's 1, and the first letter is B. You do that for each section, and that gives you the answer. However, there's a couple caveats to this puzzle. So first of all, if you are playing the Japanese version, the answer is always... Is it Mako? I think it's Mako. But there's only one answer if you're playing the Japanese. Or, no, it's not the Japanese. It's the European version. The European version has one answer all the time. I think it's Mako. So, if you happen to be playing that version, there's only one answer. The English version has 4 possible answers. Bomb, Mako, Best, and King are the only 4 answers it can be. The other answers are always wrong. I believe the reason that there's only 4 answers in English and only 1 answer in European is because of the translation. They weren't able to translate all the books and everything correctly to make the answers work out, so they just said, screw it, answer's always Mako, or whatever. Also, when speedrunners started to break open the game to try to figure out how to do this quickly, they didn't want to just go over and guess the answer every single time. In the PC Any % version, we actually guessed most of the time instead of figuring it out because it was faster and that run is a bit shorter, so the time loss isn't as big of a deal. Like, you can still reset at this point without being too sad. And also, there was a time when getting one of the answers wrong was actually faster because it was less text and you didn't need the elemental materia. But anyways, as they started to break apart the game, they found out that you can actually just check one book and get the answer. I believe it's this one, right? Or this one. It's one of these. Zuloff would know. He can let us know. But there's one book you can check, and depending on what book it is, you can just discern what the answer is. Okay, so it is this one. So if you look at this book, there's a list of answers depending on what this book is. So you can just run in, check that book, and then you know the answer. Oh, and you, who might you be? You all must be those, me, I'm Domino, the Mayor of Midgar. Actually, I'm mayor in name only. The city and everything in it is really run by Shinra. My only real job is watching over Shinra's documents. Me, the mayor, a librarian. You want to get upstairs? I tell you what, if you can guess the password, I'll give you my key card. Yes, that's it. Guess the password, and I'll give you my key card. If you get it on the first try, I'll even throw in a special item. Which is funny, because, the elemental materia is, like, really important and really strong. So it's pretty important to get this right the first time. God, I love the sound of that. Bomb! I'm so angry. I'm like a walking time bomb waiting to explode. Well, okay, here, take it. I never thought you'd get it on the first try. Just goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover. Oh well, a promise is a promise. Take this too. Why would I do something like this, you ask? To mess with them, of course. Shinra's been torturing me forever. That's why I was a little rough on you all just now. Now go up there and really make them suffer. This ought to make us even. Also, it should be noted that you can soft lock on any of these elevators if you click on them too far off, because Cloud will get stuck doing this, trying to walk into the elevator. So you gotta be careful on those elevators. The English version is actually the same as the Japanese version. French, German, and Spanish are always Mako. Okay, I'll have to look into that then. I think I got that information from the wiki, which the wiki is wrong a lot, so I'm not surprised. They might have just thought that all the EU versions were always Mako, but maybe the EU version English is normal and has the 4 answers, but then the EU versions with the other languages aren't. That's probably what it is, to be honest. Alright, so this puzzle. I think everyone pretty much knows it by now, but in case you never figured this out as a kid, there's only one answer. To get all of the items, you have to do this door, and then this door. Would be cool if there were several answers, but this is the only way it works. So let's not talk about the remake robots. Yeah, it says that your level of keycard means you can open 3 doors. But if you come back with a better keycard, you can still only open 3 doors. Also, I always get played by this. The default answer is all clear. You have to press circle and then go down to coupon change, or else you have to do the stupid puzzle again. So, 4 slots is a good example of a magic defense heavy armor. But magic defense does nothing, so it's kind of a waste. But it still has 4 slots, so it's not a complete waste. We don't have enough materia for that to matter yet, though. Now it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Well, not yet. We gotta do this first. So, there's a bunch of items in these lockers, and Kate Sith's ultimate weapon is in this one. And if you come up here before you have Kate Sith, he goes, "What is this, a megaphone?" And then doesn't take it. Also, as much of a meme that it is, I actually never knew this. Did you know you can ride these? I never knew this as a kid. And you can even run on it. Yeah, I never knew. It is kind of particular Like when you walk up to it and just press circle, it doesn't do it. You have to be standing right behind it on the arrow. And it goes on for like ever. You can't cancel it. Once you're on here, you gotta wait till he's done. And then there's also the Shinra Gym special drink. I believe if you pay for it, you get it later, right? Nothing. Oh, that's right. You have to bang on it. Sir, what are you doing? Nothing. Yeah, so if you buy this now, you get a trigger. You get a source later. That's all there is to do fun here. Other than the free rest. You have to bang on it more? No, I don't think so. Actually, I'm not sure you have to bang on it at all. How's it going, Dio? Yeah, I think you just have to pay. I don't know what happens if you bang on it a bunch. I think she just yells at you over and over.